There's a hidden truth that traditional religions don't want you to know. The material world wasn't created by a perfect God, but by a fallen consciousness that fragmented itself to awaken divine sparks, and you're one of them. The dragon they taught you to fear is actually the primordial creative force pulsing inside you. The sacred womb transcends gender. It's the cosmic vessel where your soul gestates its next evolution. For centuries, Gnostic symbols have guarded this wisdom. You don't need external salvation because you already carry the dormant divine spark. Sophia didn't fall as punishment. She chose to dive into matter to teach us the way back to the source. Stay with me, because I'm going to reveal how these ancestral symbols can awaken powers you never imagined you possess. The question isn't whether you're ready to awaken, but whether you'll keep sleeping while your true divine nature begs to be remembered. The Gnostic tradition reveals a truth that challenges everything we've been taught about creation. Sophia, divine wisdom, didn't fall by accident. She intentionally dove into the abyss of matter. This courageous descent shattered the pleroma, that realm of absolute fullness, where everything vibrated in perfect unity. What seems like tragedy is actually the greatest act of cosmic love ever recorded. Sophia knew that to awaken sleeping consciousness, she needed to scatter herself into millions of divine sparks, spreading throughout all creation. Every human soul carries a fragment of this ancestral wisdom, a latent memory of the original illumination that pulses at the core of being. Imagine for a moment that you're not just a body walking around, but actually a living piece of cosmic spirituality itself. This perspective changes everything, doesn't it? The material reality we perceive isn't a prison, it's a sacred labyrinth designed to lead us back to the source. Every experience, every pain, every moment of confusion are clues carefully placed along the path. Sophia transformed herself into the very fabric of existence to guide us through the mysticism of everyday life. When you look at a tree, you're not just seeing wood and leaves. You're contemplating a living symbol of divine energy manifested. Ancient Gnosis teaches that everything around us whispers secrets about our true nature. The Gnostic masters understood that the awakening of consciousness doesn't happen through escaping the world, but through decoding its hidden mysteries. Sophia spread herself through matter like golden ink on an infinite canvas, creating a cosmic map that only awakened eyes can read. Every synchronicity you experience is Sophia whispering in your ear. That moment when a song plays exactly when you need to hear it, or when you meet someone who changes your life at the perfect moment, that's not coincidence. It's divine wisdom orchestrating your journey back home. Daily life becomes a sacred book when we learn its secret language. What few understand is that Sophia didn't sacrifice herself. She multiplied herself. Every conscious being in the universe is an extension of her essence, a neuron in the cosmic mind of the Creator. When we experience those moments of profound spiritual connection, we're not connecting with something external. We're remembering who we really are. Separation is a necessary illusion that allows consciousness to know itself through infinite perspectives. Jesus in the Gnostic tradition represented this embodied remembrance, a being who completely recovered the memory of his divine nature and came to show the way to others. He wasn't different from us. He simply remembered first. The beauty of this understanding is that it transforms every moment into a sacred opportunity. When you meditate in the morning, you're not just relaxing, you're tuning into Sophia's frequency that vibrates in your cells. When you practice compassion, you're activating the ancestral memory of unconditional love that existed in the pleroma. Every act of kindness, every moment of conscious presence, every intentional breath is a step on the path back to unity. Matter isn't the opposite of spirit. It's spirit playing hide-and-seek with itself, and you're discovering the most secret hiding places of this cosmic game. The dragon was never the villain of the story. This is one of the biggest distortions that separated humanity from its inner power. In the most ancient traditions, the dragon represented the primordial creative force that sleeps coiled at the base of the spine waiting to be awakened. This energy isn't something external that needs to be conquered, but rather the very essence of spirituality that pulses in every cell of your body. The ancients understood that mastering the dragon meant mastering oneself, transforming internal chaos into conscious creative power. Jesus, in the lost Gnostic texts, spoke about this serpent of fire that, when awakened, transforms water into wine, a metaphor for the transmutation of ordinary consciousness into divine illumination. Every person carries within themselves this dormant draconic force, but most live without even suspecting its existence. When you feel that deep restlessness, that desire to create something greater, to transcend your limitations, that's your inner dragon roaring softly, asking to be liberated. Eastern mysticism has always known this. Kundalini is exactly this. Serpent energy that, when awakened, rises up the spine, activating consciousness centers that completely transform the perception of reality. It's no coincidence that great artists, inventors, and visionaries speak of moments when they feel possessed by a greater force. They're experiencing the awakening of consciousness through draconic fire. What makes this energy so powerful is its dual nature. It can both create and destroy, both illuminate and consume. The masters of Gnosis taught that the dragon tests our spiritual maturity before revealing its deepest secrets. When we begin to awaken this force, we inevitably face our most primitive fears, our darkest shadows. It's as if the dragon asks, "Are you really ready for this power?" Many retreat at this moment, preferring the safety of unconsciousness. But those who persist discover that on the other side of fear lies the purest and most creative energy in the universe. Practice this. Breathe deeply and visualize a golden serpent slowly rising up your spine. Observe the sensations without judgment. The Chinese tradition has always venerated the dragon as a symbol of wisdom and spiritual power, not destruction. They understood that this energy, when channeled correctly, controls the forces of nature and balances the hidden polarities of existence. The dragon isn't chaotic. It follows very precise cosmic laws that transcend our linear understanding. When you learn to ride this energy instead of fighting against it, your life transforms into a cosmic dance where synchronicities become routine and miracles seem natural. Every conscious breath feeds the draconic fire. Every moment of full presence awakens another piece of this ancestral force that sleeps in your cells. The awakening of the inner dragon isn't a single event, but a continuous process of consciousness expansion. As this energy activates, you begin to perceive invisible patterns that connect all things, to feel the pulsation of spirituality itself running through your veins. Your dreams become more vivid, your intuition sharper. Your creative capacity explodes in directions you never imagined possible. It's like waking up from a deep dream and discovering you were always capable of flying. You just needed to remember how to spread your wings. The dragon whispers, "You're not just human experiencing the divine, you're the divine experiencing being human." And when this truth settles completely, something even more mysterious begins to reveal itself. The cosmic womb transcends any biological limitation. It's the primordial womb where all possibilities await the perfect moment to be born. This sacred matrix exists in every being, regardless of gender, pulsing like an inner temple where spirituality manifests in form. The ancient mystics knew that before any creation comes to light, it needs to gestate in the deep silence of this sacred space. It's there that dreams take substance, that visions gain body, that divine energy condenses into tangible reality. Jesus spoke about being born again, and this rebirth happens exactly in this inner womb, where the soul reconnects with its original nature and awakens to a new dimension of consciousness. When you sit in silence and place your hands over your abdomen, you're not just touching muscles and organs, you're accessing the most sacred portal that exists within you. This energetic center functions like a cosmic antenna that captures the most subtle frequencies of the universe, translating them into intuitions, insights, and revelations. Feminine mysticism has always recognized this truth. The womb is a living oracle that whispers the secrets of creation. Even in men, this matrix energy pulses as a receptive force that balances the draconic fire, creating the perfect environment for Gnosis to flourish. Practice placing one hand on your heart and another on your lower abdomen, breathing golden light between these two centers. What makes this symbol so powerful is its capacity to transform chaos into order, to give form to the formless. Just as a biological womb nurtures and protects life in formation, the inner cosmic womb incubates your deepest spiritual transformations. Every great change in your life began first, as a seed planted in this sacred soil. That sensation of something moving inside you before an important decision, that inexplicable certainty that comes from the depths of being, that's your cosmic womb communicating through the hidden language of intuition. The masters of Gnosis taught that true wisdom doesn't come from the mind, but from this receptive space, where individual consciousness meets universal consciousness. The uterine energy operates in cycles, just like the moon, the tides, and the natural rhythms of the cosmos. There are moments to sow intentions, periods of silent gestation, and times to give birth to your creations. When you learn to honor these internal cycles, your life aligns with the natural flow of existence, and everything happens with much more ease. The awakening of consciousness isn't a linear process. It pulses in waves like cosmic contractions that push us toward increasingly elevated dimensions of perception. Observe in your own journey. The moments of greatest spiritual growth didn't come after periods of intense mental activity, but after phases of withdrawal, silence, and inner gestation, where you allowed something new to be born naturally. This sacred womb is also the place where we heal our deepest wounds. Every emotional pain, every trauma, every limitation we carry can be placed in this space to be transformed. It's as if the cosmic womb had the power to regestate our own existence, offering a second chance, a new birth with every conscious breath. True spirituality doesn't happen by fleeing from our shadows, but by embracing them in this compassionate womb where everything is accepted, nurtured, and eventually transformed into light. When the dragon's fire meets the receptivity of the sacred womb, the magic of conscious creation awakens, and you discover that you always had the power to create your reality through the harmonious union of these primordial forces. The deepest alchemy happens when draconic fire meets uterine receptivity. This is the secret that the ancients called the sacred marriage. It's not about union between man and woman, but about the cosmic dance between two forces that exist within every conscious being. When these energies embrace in perfect harmony, true gnosis is born, that knowledge that transcends words and concepts, revealing itself as direct experience of divine reality. Jesus and Mary Magdalene, in the hidden Gnostic tradition, represented this sacred union embodied, not just as a couple but as living symbols of integrated spirituality. Illumination happens exactly at this meeting point, where active creative force dances with passive receptive wisdom. This union isn't static, it pulses like the very breath of the cosmos. On the inhale, the dragon awakens and rises. On the exhale, the womb receives and transforms. Every breathing cycle is an opportunity to practice this inner alchemy. When you inhale with intention, you're activating the fire of consciousness. When you exhale with surrender, you're offering this fire to the inner sacred space to be molded into wisdom. Tantric mysticism has always known this truth. Conscious breathing is the key that opens the doors of expanded perception. Practice. Now inhale, visualizing a golden serpent rising up your spine. Exhale, imagining this energy settling in a luminous womb at the center of your being. Feel how these two forces complement each other perfectly. What few understand is that this sacred union is constantly happening in our bodies, but we rarely pay conscious attention to the process. Every heartbeat is the rhythmic pulsation between expansion and contraction. Every creative thought is draconic fire penetrating the receptive space of the mind. Every elevated emotion is the result of this inner dance between complementary forces. When we begin to perceive these subtle patterns, our entire life transforms into a continuous spiritual practice. The awakening of consciousness doesn't require long retreats or complex rituals. It can happen at any moment when you tune into this alchemy that's already operating within you. Divine energy isn't out there waiting to be found. It's right here inside, asking to be recognized. The Gnostic tradition teaches that when these forces unite consciously, bridges between dimensions are created. You begin to perceive realities that were previously invisible. Your intuitions become prophetic. Your creativity explodes in unimaginable directions. Your capacity for healing, both your own and others, expands exponentially. It's as if you were a radio that finally found the correct frequency to capture. Cosmic transmissions. Synchronisms multiply. Opportunities appear at the exact moment. The right people show up in your path as if magnetized by the new vibration you emit. This isn't fantasy. It's the natural functioning of a consciousness that learned to operate in harmony with the hidden laws of the universe. This sacred union also reveals why so many spiritual traditions speak about transcending duality. It's not about eliminating differences, but about discovering how they complement each other in a perfect dance. Strength and gentleness, action and contemplation, speaking and listening, giving and receiving, all these apparent opposites are actually partners in a cosmic waltz. When you master this inner dance, your external life automatically reflects this harmony. Relationships become deeper, work transforms into vocation, challenges turn into opportunities for growth. You discover that you always had access to this advanced spiritual technology. But something even more extraordinary is about to be revealed when these unified energies find their highest expression. True spirituality doesn't live only in theory. It manifests through practices that transform knowledge into living experience. Every conscious breath is an invitation to awaken the draconic forces that sleep in your spinal column. Start right. Now sit comfortably, close your eyes and inhale deeply, while visualizing a golden serpent uncoiling at the base of your spine. Hold your breath for a few seconds, feeling this energy intensify, then exhale slowly, imagining it rising vertebra by vertebra. Do this for just 3 minutes daily, and observe how your perception of reality begins to expand. Jesus used similar breathing techniques in the hidden teachings transmitted to his closest disciples, practices that activated gnosis through the physical body. Working with Kundalini energy doesn't need to be complicated or dangerous when approached with wisdom and graduality. A powerful practice consists of placing one hand on the heart and another on the lower abdomen, breathing silver light between these two centers. This simultaneously activates the draconic fire and the cosmic womb, creating an energetic circuit that balances internal polarities. While breathing, repeat mentally, "I am the force that creates, I am the space that receives." This affirmation programs your subconscious mind to recognize and integrate these energies harmoniously. Practical. Mysticism has always emphasized that small, consistent practices generate deeper transformations than sporadic and complex rituals. Illumination happens in the simplicity of the present moment, not in the complexity of elaborate techniques. Meditation with ancestral symbols exponentially potentiates the awakening of consciousness. Visualize the Ouroboros, the serpent that devours its own tail, circling your body like a protective circle of golden light. While maintaining this image, breathe naturally and allow insights to arise spontaneously. This symbol activates deep layers of the unconscious, where Gnostic wisdom is stored. Many people report experiences of past lives, sudden understanding of personal patterns, or intuitive connections with spiritual truths during this practice. Don't force anything. Simply maintain the symbol in mind and let it do its internal, alchemical work. Divine energy operates through symbols because they speak directly with the language of the soul, transcending the limitations of the rational mind. Conscious bodywork dramatically accelerates the integration of these awakened energies. Slow and intentional movements, like those found in Tai Chi or Kundalini Yoga, allow the draconic force to circulate freely through the nervous system. A simple but powerful practice. Stand up, raise your arms slowly while inhaling, imagining you're collecting cosmic energy. Then lower your arms while exhaling, directing this energy to the sacred womb at the center of your being. Repeat for 5 minutes, keeping attention totally present in the movement and breath. This is a form of prayer in movement that activates awakening through the physical body. The occult has always understood that the body isn't an obstacle to spirituality. It's the temple where it manifests. The key to sustaining these practices is to start small and be consistent. 3 minutes of conscious breathing every morning are more transformative than an hour of meditation once a week. Create a sacred space in your home, even if it's just a cushion in a corner, where you can connect daily with these energies. Keep a spiritual journal where you note insights, dreams, and synchronisms that arise as your consciousness expands. Remember, you're not learning something new, you're remembering who you always were. Every practice is an invitation to recognize the divinity that already pulses in every cell of your body. And when this remembrance becomes constant, when awakening integrates completely into your daily life, you discover that the journey is just beginning. There are infinite dimensions of consciousness waiting to be explored. Now you know the secrets that few dare to reveal. The dragon awakens when you breathe consciously. The sacred womb activates when you honor your inner space. The union of these forces transforms theory into real power. But knowledge without action is just another illusion. So tell me, are you going to keep sleeping, or will you awaken the divine spark that Sophia planted in you? When was the last time you felt your inner fire roar? What excuse are you still using to not claim your cosmic heritage? The world needs awakened souls, not spectators. Start today. 3 minutes of conscious breathing, visualizing the golden serpent rising up your spine. Feel the difference. Live the transformation. If this video touched something deep in you, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's so much more ancestral wisdom waiting to be revealed, and your awakening journey is just getting started.